Good morning, everyone. Today we are leaving Rock Sound and making our way towards Georgetown. It's about 80 miles south of here. This morning was a relatively slow start, but the wind is finally filling back up and it should be a beautiful sail.
Now this is light wind sailing. Theoretically at the top of the mast there's 5 knots of wind, but down here there's barely anything. But we're still sailing along at about 1.5 knots to 2 knots. So, and we're going in the right direction, which is fine. I always love it when we're out sailing and we're going the exact same speed and direction as another similar sized monohull that's motoring. I love it. I don't get it, but I love it. And we're towing our dinghy. If we weren't towing our dinghy, we'd be doing another 1/2 to 3/4 of a knot probably.
I'm on coral head watch. It's actually the first time we have to be careful about the coral heads.
Well, we were on our way to Georgetown, but the wind's supposed to clock out of the north-northeast later on today, and it keeps getting pushed back a couple of hours and a couple of hours. It's still blowing out of the west, which means we'd be kind of pinching down to Georgetown instead of running downwind. So instead of it being difficult, we decided to just pull over to this beautiful island in the middle of nowhere and wait a few hours for the wind to turn around. So this is like a little slice of paradise.
I think this is probably the first time that we're actually hanging out at the beach in the Bahamas.
With no real agenda.
Just hanging out at the beach in the sun.
It's finally warm. I feel like I got a little bit of a suntan. We could go swimming without wetsuits. It felt really, really nice.
Yeah.
It looks like by the fact that Uma's already flipped around that the wind and current have already shifted. So I think we're gonna pack it up here and head back to the boat and pack up, store the dinghy, because it's going to be 80 miles offshore at night. So we're going to have the dinghy on deck. We'll put the motor away and get everything ready. Maybe eat some food. I don't think we ate breakfast.
No, or lunch.
No, we've just been enjoying the day too much. That is the good part about sailing here, is pretty much everywhere you go is absolutely gorgeous. So you feel kind of bad leaving one place, but you know the next one's going to be just as beautiful.
Yep.
Into the ground. In pain, it makes it sound. I once was lost, the one you found. So let your love run free.
Our beach day is finally coming to an end. It was fun though. It is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon now, and we've got that wind shift that we were waiting for. The wind is coming from the northeast, blowing about 10 knots. So it's going to be a nice downwind overnight sail all the way to Georgetown. Everything is pretty much ready to go. The dinghy is up on deck and Danny's doing the last preparation, turning on the electronics and such, and we're ready to rock and roll.
So our whole course looks like it's going to be about 90 miles. So we're leaving now. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And we're leaving now with a little bit of sunlight left to get the next maybe 2 miles in the shallow sections here. And we'll have good daylight for that. And then we'll be doing most of this passage at night. It's our first night passage since, well, it's our first full overnight passage in a really long time. And we'll hopefully get there around 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, maybe 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. So we'll have good daylight to come into, because Georgetown, it's like a long, narrow, reef-filled cut to get through. So should be good. Good morning. What a sweet sail. It's been blowing about 10 to 15 knots on the beam, just in front of the beam, all night. And the wind's clocking a little bit around onto the bow, so it's sort of pinching, but the big waves are still coming from the behind and more on the side, so it's pretty comfy. We haven't had an overnight sail in a really long time, and definitely haven't had one that calm in a really long time. So it was really quite enjoyable. It's right before 6 o'clock in the morning, and we should make it to Georgetown in about 3 hours. What a beautiful sunrise.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's a reflection of the water up on the clouds. It's so cool.
Really amazing. So the backside of, where are we, Georgetown? So the backside of the Exumas, it's really, really shallow, and so the water's really, really blue, like turquoise blue. And it looks like the sun's reflecting off of that and then illuminating the bottom of the clouds, because like the sky's kind of a darker blue, the clouds are white and gray, but then the underside is like this bright teal, almost green. It's really pretty. The wind is really, really light, and when we were pointing into it, it was okay because we were creating our own apparent wind. But now that we've turned and we're about 6 miles southeast of Georgetown, we are barely drifting along because the wind's down to like 5-6 knots, so the apparent wind is like 3, which means we're putting the Spinnaker out. I love how easy that thing is to put up and down. We're still getting the hang of like doing it in the right order every time, so it doesn't go perfectly smoothly. But yeah, we've got 5 knots of apparent wind, and it's enough to keep it full. So we're just zooming along. We put about an extra knot on. With just the main up, we're doing 2 knots, and now we're doing 3. So we might actually get there today. Look, that rain is that rain. The radar only picks up like really, really heavy rain. It doesn't really pick up like clouds. It doesn't really show you wind or anything like that. So what it's picking up now is like the really heavy rain over there, even though it's already started sort of misting. Oh, wow, behind us is beautiful too. Yeah, that is also rain behind us. Nice to get a little freshwater
It's like
rinse.
forming.
Yeah. It'll be nice to get a little freshwater rinse after sailing offshore for the night. The boat's a little salty. Oh my god, look at all these are all boats. Looks like the map has chicken pox. Like that's shore, obviously. That's like the hills and trees behind it. And then these are just all the boats that I can see.
That's funny.
So many boats.
Oh, let's not forget to like tie up the people's heads.
This has got to be one of the craziest sunsets we've seen because you can see the sun setting, but we're surrounded by like these really dark sort of squall lines and storms. And there's also about 200 boats anchored here, so the anchor lights are really cool. You can see all the way down the bay, and there's just all these cool little twinkle lights from all the anchor lights. It's really pretty.
Yeah, it's absolutely